Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back. All right. We are back 30 days with Lisa. If you're here, yo, give us a sign. Let us know you're in the house, okay? Before we get popping. It's only 30 days. That's all we got. All right. Is my voice coming through loud and clear? I think it is. Let me get some comments here, make sure we're good. Let me grab a cash flow tribe page. All right, so we're doing 30 days to a deal with Lisa. We're on day 12 today, and we don't have that much time. We're going to continue the offer making from yesterday. We put in some work. So today, we're going to be getting after it. So hope you guys are ready to kind of dig in, dig deep, make it happen. Oh, we got a little bit of technicals behind the scenes. Device not connected. Okay, cool. All right, let me know who's in the house. Let me know where you're repping. Where are you calling in from today? We got some people here in the comments. All right, welcome. Welcome. Let me see those comments coming through. All right. So I'm going to bring on our boy here. I'm going to bring on our lady. And here we go. Okay, we got some people in the house here. So good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida. All right, cool. Appreciate that. Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome. All right, so 30 days to a deal. You guys know the drill by now. Lisa is here. We got our good friend Drew is here. We're going to bring them both out in just a second. If you're coming on for the first time, give us a quick share. All right, give us a quick share and go ahead and share the stream out. We're basically helping Lisa get a deal live on air. Boom, there we go. Share the stream out right now. A couple of quick shout outs. Some of my friends are in the house. We got John Lamack from Windsor. What's up, buddy? Hey, we got Jamie's in the house. What's up, Jamie? Good to see you, my friend. We got Daniel LeBlanc. He's in the house. All a bunch of studs over here. Speaking of studs, we got Rob Goulet's in the house. We got Sharon's in the house. Dina says, oh, my God, it's supposed to be at 2:30. I know, Dina. I know. We're just making it work with the time that we got. We're going to go back to a regular scheduled time here, I believe tomorrow, but we had to pivot some stuff. This is how life goes. We have to pivot. We're doing deals. We're being active. We're being flexible. So appreciate you guys checking in. Jamie, good to see you too. All right, here we go. Without further ado, let's bring on. Here's our friend Drew. Drew, say what's up.
What's up?
What's up? Let's grab our friend Lisa. Lisa, are you here? She came on and then she took off. All right, Drew, why don't you give us a quick update here on what happened yesterday so everybody can tag it. And then as soon as Lisa's on the stream, guys, by the way, I'm pretty sure that she's driving. We'll get her on the call right away.
Okay. So after we were done the call, I stayed on with her for another hour or two, actually, just to go through the two that she potentially had on the table. And what I really wanted to dig into is where she got the numbers from. So you probably, if you just watched or watched the replay of yesterday, that was one of my things, is where do we get the after repair values from? One of the big mistakes I can see a lot of beginner and even intermediate investors do is they get caught up in the negotiation with what somebody else wants, as opposed to figuring out if this deal is even still going to make sense for you.
That's a great tip. That is a great tip. Speaking of, hold on one second. We got Lisa. Lisa, you ready? Okay, Lisa's in the house. Okay, we're letting Drew kind of have the floor, but just welcome real quick. Lisa, we're going to get a whole bunch of messages like don't talk when you drive. So keep your eyes on the road, because we're going to get a whole bunch of hate over that. I can tell you right now.
You guys are hands free, and I'm not even going to look directly at you.
Okay, cool. So for all of you guys at home who are afraid, Lisa's acting very responsibly. So just, Lisa, I'm going to keep you muted. We got some background noise here. So I'm going to give Drew the floor for a few minutes, and I'll bring you back on. All right, or pull over. That would be good too.
Yeah, that was going to be my suggestion too.
Or just pull over.
Pull over.
If you have a chance, that might be the better play, because Drew does not want to have a live accident on the air. It's not good for social credibility.
No.
We're going to end up on the 6 o'clock news. Okay, Drew, go ahead, man. Lisa, if you can pull over, let's do that. If not, eyes on the road.
Okay, good stuff. So yeah, as I mentioned, it's one of the things where we get so excited in the deal offer making process or negotiating that we're more interested in what the seller is saying and then trying to negotiate. So we tried to talk a bit backwards, and I did walk Lisa through the two that were on the table as to what it is that the seller wants. And is a little mantra I have, whereas I can be empathetic to anyone's situation. However, I don't care what they want for the house.
Mm.
Okay, I really
Rude.
don't. Okay, because
Okay.
realistically, at the end of the day, you need to do this as a business. You need to do this as an investment. So there's much easier for you to say that my numbers don't align with your numbers. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And if there's an opportunity for us to put something together in the future, great. But if not, that's fine. At least you still have your money intact, and you weren't yelled at by a seller. Okay. So the first one we were looking at that we've been going through that a lot of work had been happening on, which was that property I think you guys were talking about in Lake Bonavista. The after repair values that we were able to look back on that property, it's not going on to a green space. It's just backing onto another house. There was stuff that it sold as high as 890,000 in there, but again, it was backing onto a green space. The question becomes now, what is the maximum that somebody would pay for something that didn't have a fantastic view behind it? And we realized that the highest we'd seen in the last few months was actually 700,000. So we're now all of a sudden we're in the midst of negotiating a 600,000 plus purchase price. We realize that this deal only makes sense at $100,000 less than that. So it was important to get into that first and foremost. We still made sure that Lisa wrote up the offer, had the conversation. Like I said, sometimes these are difficult, but it's better that you get through that. We are saying, okay, this is it. I know that this may not work for you, Mr. Seller, but this is the offer I have based on my numbers. And because you've done your homework now, you can feel confident knowing that whatever they tell you, right? You've made Lake Bonavista is a great area. But yeah, from what we were seeing based on this property here, it was going to be closer to the $700,000 range as opposed to an $800,000 after repair value for it, which is still great for Calgary. So, but just again, if I'm negotiating at 600 and change and I'm trying to sell it 700 and change, and my full renovation budget is probably going to be 140,000, then there's no money in that for you. Okay.
All right. So keep going.
Okay, so that was the first one. The other one was another one that came from wholesalers, our good friends over at Cash In Homes. Other thing to be aware of is, and I love my boys to death. I'm probably going to go see them later today. Again, it's very important with regards to your numbers. So the after repairs that were estimates that were there, we just needed to verify. And I think I pulled over. I think she's pulled over in hands free.
Okay, go ahead and unmute yourself if you're pulled over. All right, there we go. We're good.
Good stuff. All right, so I'll be quick. Yeah, so just
pulled over fully at a stop.
Good.
Awesome.
So yes, we ran the numbers on that one as well. It was probably about, correct me if I'm wrong, about $40,000 or $50,000 off of what Cash In was looking for purchase price. Is that right, Lisa? Something like that.
It was about 80,000 off.
Really?
Yeah.
No, we were at 423. I think they were at 480 or 490 was their asking.
For that one, 497.
Okay, so 497, 425. So about $75,000 off.
Yeah, 75.
Okay, so the important thing here is to still go through the process. And I'll tell everybody who's on this call, the easiest person to give a lowball offer to is a wholesaler. Okay, they literally just have it on paper. You just tell them, these are my numbers. I'm prepared to buy. You can make whatever you need to make as long as you get me the house at this price.
Hold on. I just want to know real quick. Why did we get a bunch of thumbs up on that? Everybody was like, Drew's bringing the knowledge.
That was the mind-blowing piece for me yesterday. And Drew said it in there, and I posted it in the Facebook group as well, just to remind everyone. That was a nugget from yesterday that made me really think about not going over when because of what they want, and the numbers have to work. So I did run through those numbers again. I did have a follow-up conversation with Brennan this morning, and he wanted to talk through the numbers. I went through my, I have it on the seat here. I went through my more detailed analysis of what I think the cost would be. And I did, he had an open house, or not open house, but a walkthrough yesterday. And so I went down to that, and since the other properties were in the same area, I took a drive by all of them. And that was one of those that I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I see that I definitely want to fix this or this. And that's what a buyer would expect. And that was the other thing Drew said yesterday about who's your target buyer and what would they expect. So we had talked about like, a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. Do you need to put in a second bath? Would the buyer that I'm trying to attract look for a master bath? Yes, they would. So those are things that you start to need to factor in and think about what kind of flip is it? Is it just paint and updating decor? That may be something different, but this was more involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other thing
Lots of
too,
nuggets yesterday.
yeah, the other thing too is even when we went through the spreadsheet, so I have the spreadsheet built. If you take away what financing cost would have been, of course, we're using hard money to do the purchase for a 6 to 8 month period, depending on how long the rental takes and how long it takes to sell, an additional 30 to 45 days for possession. So factor all of these things in, costs are in there. If you took away that and you actually were a legitimate cash buyer where it was your own money or a very low line of credit that you had, and you were doing the deal yourself, which Lisa's not. She has to hire a contractor who you're looking at, even just a general contract, you're looking at $7,000 to $8,000 per month just for them over a 6 to 8 month period. Right? If you were now doing the work yourself and you didn't have the cash, all of a sudden that $497,000 purchase price would make sense. Right? But that's why I said don't fudge your numbers just to get a deal. In this case, Lisa has to hire somebody else, so she has to factor in that cost. And then she's actually getting hard money, so she has to factor in that cost as well. So unfortunately, in this situation, because you're dealing with this other stuff, it just brings your number lower. But I much prefer to have an apology up front and build a working relationship than have to come back to my investors saying why I can't pay them off, or we end up with a property or project 8 months down the road that I'm going to lose money on.
All right. So where does this lead us? Sarah, Lisa's still here? Yep. Okay.
Okay. So I think once we realized those numbers didn't work, I immediately went to the MLS and I was like, okay, well, let's figure out what is going to.
I think Brennan. Yeah, I think Brennan and I are friends.
You are a robot right now. We
Okay.
can't see you. We can't see you. You're frozen.
Yeah, what I did tell her was to have that discussion with Brennan. If Brennan has the ability to go back to the original owner and negotiate the price down, he knows that he has a buyer who's prepared to take it. He will now go to the negotiation on your behalf and see if he can get to that price. Or if there's somebody else, they'll take the property and we just find another one. She's on their email list, so any new property that comes up, she's going to see it. So.
All right. So how many offers? I'm going to push this forward here. How many offers are we got? Three active. Okay,
three
cool.
Active. Yep. So the one, it became $100,000 less than she thought. That's the one we've been going through from the beginning. She spoke to Brennan. It is about $50,000 to $75,000 less than she thought she needed to be. But there is one. Thank you very much for that, Sharon. There is one that was found on the MLS. No, it's actually live. Now I'll show you the text from the. Actually, well, should I do that? No, I won't even do that because this is a live deal and I know we're live.
This is a live deal and we are live. Is anybody at home poaching this deal? Is somebody behind
me? I'm like super concerned.
Rob Lisa.
Yeah.
Don't rob Lisa of opportunities,
somebody
guys.
does this. Yeah. So this was just found. Again, we went through everything. I said, okay, well, let's see availability of smaller bungalows in the South in communities that are flipping. So there's a community called, okay, I'm not even going to say the community because there's only one that's available on right now, but it's in the south of Calgary. It's available. It's an estate sale. Probate had already been completed and no one had taken it and it had been 8 days on the market. We ran the numbers. The after repair is anywhere between $670. There was one that what I call the silly season, which was up until May, June of this year before the interest rate started doing whatever. that sold as high as 711,000. 1,000 square foot bungalow, double detached garage, nicely renovated. This one's on the market for 439. I was like, okay, that's quite a gap. We did Lisa's numbers again, factored in as much as $170,000 for renovation because it needs to have a garage put onto this property. Now, I made Lisa, of course, make some calls. This is a full gut renovation, so you need a quality contractor to do this job. So that was her homework yesterday, which she said she's meeting with a couple. But I know that that's typically anywhere in that $160,000 to $200,000 range, depending on the amount of work or scope of work. So if she can get this person to complete this at 170, her numbers came in at 420,000 to factor all of her costs, right? Which is not bad. And we went in with no inspection because it's going to be a gut job, but she does have a financing condition for 10 days. There were 3 offers that went in yesterday. I'll read what he messaged me back about 45 minutes ago. Good morning, Drew. We received the 3rd offer late last night. The agents are X, Y, and Z. We like your terms versus the other offers and would like to work with yours, but need you to improve on your purchase price. Please discuss with your client and let us know if you'd come up to what they're asking. So we said, okay, that's great. We're in the play now. I asked her if she was prepared to move up a little bit. I think the most it was 422, but because the numbers are there, then it's a simple response in your negotiation. Thank you very much for considering us. We've gone through all of our numbers. This is a full renovation project. 422,500, I think is what it was. If that can work, great. We'll be happy to close for you and have this deal completed, cash transferred by the 31st of this month. Right? So again, because she's done all of her homework, if she can get this done, if they can agree to the fact that, okay, I want 430 and change, but most we're going to offer is 422.5 and they like it, we might have her a deal today. So
we might have her a deal today. Drew, I love this, man. This is what we need. We're almost halfway there. I mean, literally, guys, we've been doing this show now for almost 2 weeks, and we're almost halfway there. But what I want to highlight is a couple things Drew's saying here. I fully agree with Drew. You have to become a resourceful investor, and that's what we aim to help people do at CFT Cashflow Tribe, is to help you, empower you to be able to make a lot of decisions and thinking on your own. All right. But what Drew said is you have to go get a deal. It doesn't matter what the other party wants. Those are numbers. What matters is what matters to you. You have to know how you justify the deal. Long term, what makes sense to you? Are you keeping it? Are you flipping it? So taking control, I think, is so important. Well, Lisa's back. So Lisa, I think you've heard most of that, what Drew was saying. What are your thoughts? Yep. Where are you at with this so far? Because we may have a deal today, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah. I feel like my confidence has gone up a lot with making deals. I know there's still like a couple of pieces of the paperwork I had to send to Drew and mark in red saying I forgot what to put here or how to frame that. But it was really only 2 this time, two small bits. So I feel like, I know how to do this now. I'm going to get better at it each time I do it. And I feel like my confidence with going in, like even having that conversation with Brennan this morning, before I would have been defending my number, and instead it was straight facts. It was just like, look, this is where I'm at. This is what I think I would need to do. This is the kind of flip I'd want to do on this property. And even cutting back in these areas, I still, with the cost of borrowing, this is the number I'm coming in at. So
yeah. So stick to your guns. Folks at home, questions.
There was no negotiation.
Folks at home, if you have questions for Lisa, feel free to throw it in the chat. But Lisa, I see your confidence levels at a new level, which is great. I'm encouraged watching you because you're a person that's growing through this process. And I could tell just by your language, you're less apprehensive. You seem in much more control about the situation, even your own thinking. So we've got Drew already going. My tendency is to keep plowing forward. Until we have a deal, we don't have a deal. I need everybody at home to understand this fact about investing. we get excited. We have offers, we have things, we have this stuff, and this isn't a time when a lot of people will let their guard down and start playing smaller and kind of take their foot off the gas, because we have some things in the works. The way you're going to win in this business is when you're close to the close, accelerate through the close and get it done. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that these deals with Drew, they're going forward, and we're keeping the momentum very much alive, very much, if we need to look at other deals. We talked about this the other day, key performance indicators. How many leads and how many offers must you make to get one deal? There's a number for most of us. So I would ask this question to Drew, and I'll give you guys my answer in today's marketplace. Based on Calgary's current climate, how many offers does somebody need to make to get a reasonable deal? What are you finding in the market?
Well, I almost have to look from an analysis perspective, because I'll analyze over 100 properties to try and find one deal.
So 100 leads, 100 potential
leads.
Evaluations. Okay, so 100 leads, go. All right, and how many are you going to offer on?
But that's it. Now I'm going to whittle down, and I should be able to, once I secure something that makes sense, I should be able to get 1 in 10.
1 in 10. So we're making 10 offers on 100 leads. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then we're closing one of those.
You got it.
So guys, that is a 1% conversion from lead to close, or a 10% conversion from offer to close. And I think that's a very important point that most people don't know about this business, is you don't just make one offer and evaluate one deal and all of a sudden you've made 30,000 of equity or fee or whatever the case is. You have to be willing to evaluate. You have to be willing to write offers, and it's basically a big old funnel that goes like this. So the input, and then you have the output on the back end. If you start thinking about investing that way, start thinking about this as a real business, then you have to understand there's lead flow to conversion to final conversion. And I just wanted to highlight that point. So Lisa now has, how many offers, Lisa, totally have we put out or are we putting out right now?
3.
So we're
3,
at 3.
And I looked at, based on the criteria Drew and I were talking about yesterday, I looked at a couple of areas. I have narrowed down some properties that I'm going to want to get some more information on. And I also happened to, so I was driving around the 3 properties. They were all in the same area. So I just drove by each of them, ran into somebody I happened to know, hadn't seen in 10 years. And told them what I was doing, and they happened to tell me their neighbor 2 doors down wants to sell off market.
Boom.
And it's a great neighborhood, and she's going to get me the contact information. And then she also told me about a property that's right behind her that, and she's in, I think it's Lake Bonavista. And she's said that property, she knows that the owner told their neighbor were going into foreclosure. And she said the lady next to her has lived there for 52 years and her kids are bugging her to move out in closer to them. So those are 3 leads that I'm going to follow up on. And we exchanged numbers. She texted me last night that she already talked to one of them. So, you never know what might happen or where those leads are going to come from. But at my confidence level in talking to her and not shying away, like normally I wouldn't have mentioned that I was even doing anything with real estate if I had seen her, because our connection in common was our old, she used to work with me. So we would have talked work, or people that we know from work. So it totally shifted to real estate. And she said, I thought that was you. And then, it was just went down that path. So and somebody said, make sure you follow up with her today. I talked to her last night and already sent her a message today saying, share my contact information and then go ahead.
That is our friend April Simmons giving you all that great advice behind the scenes. So let me highlight one thing.
Yeah, and I might even follow up in that neighborhood with a direct mailer or a drop off door knock mailer.
Okay, so let's kind of talk next steps here. We're doing the right thing. You're actually touching on a big lesson here, which is a lot of people talk about the 1 or 2 potential leads, and they fail to realize, because I get in these conversations often, and people go, I know a lady that has a house that may be willing to sell. Great. So fine, no problem. That's okay. The only response I have, go get 10 more of those ladies. Okay, so that's fine. But as long as we don't hang all of our opportunity on one lady, one place, one time. So to Drew's data, I'm going to have to, like, let's spin this a bit. We need to prove or disprove Drew's assessment here. If we disprove, hopefully it's to our advantage. If we prove, then we have a very clean metric. So 10 to 1. So we've got 3 offers out. We need 7 more offers. But it sounds like Drew has about 100 properties he evaluates, or a client of his would evaluate, which means, like, okay, so if this lady who has a house who may be interested in selling, that's a lead. Until we make a tangible offer on the property, it's still 1 of 100. It's not 1 of 10. That's what I'm trying to decipher here for you guys. So 1 out of 100. If we get an offer thrown against it, now it's going to be 1 of 4 offers, and then 1 of 5 offers. Your job is simply to get 10 offers made in the next 2 weeks, so that we can at least get 1 out of 10 conversion. Because at the end of the day, it is a numbers game. At the end of the day, you do need some conversations with people. People will come back and forth. So this is where people get lost. They waste too much time in the vernacular, in the discussion, in the whatever. What I want you to do is go, I have a lady, I'm making an offer. Boom, cool. Hey, Anthony wants A, B, and C. Cool. Save the stories. Everybody in real estate needs to save the stories. We don't care if it's your great grandpa's home, twice removed, given to your sister, and then given back to your brother, and then the dog had it, and then the cat took a piss in it, and all this other thing. Like, we don't actually care about all the vernacular. We need to know the fair market value.
Love that.
We need to know what you want for it, okay? And we need to understand what we're going to do with it. Are we making money right now? Are we making money tomorrow? Or both? We can do both with real estate. Are we going to flip it? Are we going to flip it to ourselves and do a BRRRR, which means we make money today and make money tomorrow? Great. But the stories matter for understanding seller motivation. Once you know seller motivation, story time is over. Put the story to bed. Some people are too busy Dr. Seussing their entire real estate career, right? You know, the cat and the hat and the mouse and the bat, like all this thing. So I'm glad that we're kind of getting to it. We have like 3 minutes left. So tell me what the game plan is. I know tomorrow we're back to regular schedule time.
I needed to hear that. Yep.
I know you did. We all do. We all do, because we get into the stories and, you know, all this stuff. So cancel the story, put the cat in the hat away. Let's go, you know, like whatever the cat in the hat equivalent that just does numbers all day. That's what we need. All right. So what are we going to do after this?
Great.
Where are we next?
So we're gonna hopefully Drew will hear on the offer. The other 2 are no's, but they didn't even hurt, so that's good. And I have a list of properties that we're gonna that I'm gonna analyze and then ask Drew for some additional information on. I'm going to follow up with those possible leads just to keep them warm. And then the other thing is, after yesterday, I did 2 videos, one on my main Facebook page and one on Cashflow Tribe. I had 2 people reach out to me privately and say that they're interested at, I don't know if I could get both of them for tomorrow, but where they're confused is, how do what if I don't want to do the flips or anything? What can I do in real estate that isn't involved with the construction side? And then the other questions were, how do you get down payments for all this? How do you figure that out? And so they wanted to do a bit deeper dive into the other people's money and how does that work, and how do they figure out like what those costs of financing would be, and where should they start making some of those connections and relationships.
Great. So that's all great. We can dive into that more tomorrow. One of the answers that I want to give, that, like, this is my arrogant asshole answer. Ready? It doesn't matter. I'm just sorry, but I got to drop that one time on this show. It doesn't actually matter because your deals don't matter because you're not making offers. Like I need to say that one time for people listening because I get a lot of questions like, what about step 2 and 15 and step 49 and step 65, right? It doesn't matter. You'll never get there. Who cares? Just stop wasting your time. I'm saying that one time to be a rude dick because I just think people need to know, make offers, do what Lisa's doing right now. And that's actually step 1. Step 2, once we actually get there and Lisa has 10 offers on the table, all of these questions become very relevant and we're actually going to do something with them. So we can touch on all of that stuff, but I have to try to keep people, you got to stop being a professional learner. Like this is not a university. Real estate investing is a co-op. It's not university. And a lot of people watch YouTube all day and like, hypothetically, in a scenario where I want to do this strategy, what would I do if I had the dollars, the desire, and I even remotely tried? Doesn't matter. Literally doesn't matter because you're not going to do it. So yes, we'll touch on all of that stuff. I'm proud of you for getting 3 offers. I'm a KPI driven person.
I love
for those of you at home that are very much like, dude, give me the nuts and bolts. Somebody told me when you do this show, let's not waste time. Give me the nuts and bolts. We only got a half an hour a day. So the nuts and bolts are, how many offers did you make? Well, I have stories. I don't care. So is the Dr. Seuss. How many offers? Well, 0 offers. Why didn't you make offers? More stories. Listen, all you got to do is make offers. As simple as that. I want you to basically be in this position. Ben, I have 10 offers that I've accepted, and I need to choose the best possible deal for me. Your realtor, thankful to Drew for being here and stepping up. By the way, Drew is an awesome member of this community. Hey, why is Drew on the show and I'm the realtor too and I'm not on the show? You literally didn't step up. I gave you 3 days to stay high and you did nothing. You sat there watching Lisa, struggling to figure stuff out. I'm here helping her. We as investors use everything at our disposal. Realtors, we write our own offers, they rate offers, MLS, non-MLS, resourceful, right? So thankful to Drew for stepping up. Lisa, once we have 10, we're going to go, what are the financing options? Again, same thing. What is the down payment is one option. The bank is only one option. That question itself tells me that that person is only looking at one option. So here's the 3 or 4 general options that people at home need to understand. And then we're going to wrap up the show. Number 1, you can go and do the conventional bank route. That's called consuming a mortgage. Okay. You're consuming. When you consume, you have to follow the basic rules and protocols. In that example, you have to go and get a down payment. Where do you get a down payment? Typically from your own sources of income. The only ways that I know how to really get a down payment in a conventional setting without a whole bunch of nonsense is you got to go earn it, or your mommy and daddy has to give you a gift, a non-refund, like non-payable gift, right? Anything other than that is nothing but red flags. You just need to know that, basically. And somebody's going to reach out with a caveat answer. Hypothetically, if somebody died and left me money and then I could use that money and then they came back from the dead and signed an affidavit that, that I could, I don't care. Option 2, you don't use a conventional lender, but you use a B lender or a C lender. Usually you'll find access to those people through a broker. They will charge more money. Okay, a B lender and a C lender is more flexible because a lot of them can bypass the government, which is CMHC, Canada Mortgage Housing. If you can get a down payment, you can work with them where the source of funds come from, but they will charge you more because they are not TD, Scotia, and CIBC. Okay, these are private companies that are not banks that lend money out, and they have some different options for you. In that case, Lisa, we can raise the 20%, 30%, 40% from somebody, etc. Option 3, I'll give you this one, is really the private person. So like we had Catherine on the call. Catherine you and her can just cut a deal because she has the money to fund it. Whatever deal you cut, there is no how does it have to happen. There's only your ability to negotiate things on your own terms. And then option 4 is what's called a joint venture. Somebody else in the community goes and raises the money, whether they get a loan, whether they have the cash, you're giving them a piece of equity in the deal for bringing the money, and you're now the active partner doing the deal. Those are kind of the 3 to 4 options that you have. My world in raising capital, I'm able to, in many cases, migrate and move a lot of those worlds, and I use them as like a piano where every single strategy is kind of a note, and one day I'm playing jazz and one day I play classical. Your ability to do that is what investing is all about. So that's kind of the short answer. But for us to get there, like people go, how do I do this? My new prerequisite question is, do you have 10 things under contract? No, I don't have anything under contract. I've never even evaluated a house. Well, then it actually doesn't matter. Do not pass go, do not collect cash flow. Just stay home. So I know I'm being cheeky. I'm in a cheeky mood.
No.
I appreciate that. But Lisa, does that help? Right to the point.
Yeah,
There's 4 options.
I think it'll help those folks who were asking me, and it gives them enough to start to get going.
But you know, one other thing I want to throw out here, just real quick, and then I'll give you the microphone to close us out. Here's the other thing. Free training is no good. Hey, how do I do this? And they're asking Lisa, who's now asking me. You're literally wasting your time. You know who I'm here to help? Lisa. I'm literally directing all of my energy and attention towards one person, Lisa. So they're like, how do I do it? The real answer is join Cashflow Tribe. Get a mentor. Get one-on-one help like this so you're not getting secondhand knowledge, because we're still trying to close Lisa's deal. But I see this very, very often. We have a good desire to help people, and I understand that we all want to be teachers and educators. I totally get that, and I appreciate that that's where people's hearts are. I think that's fine. By the same token, though, it's not up to you. That person needs to get direct information that applies to their situation. And even though you may give them good, well-intentioned advice, it may not actually apply to their situation because they didn't actually tell you the full story. Hi, Ben, I owe the government CRA $30,000. How do I buy my first house? And they ask Lisa that, but they leave out the part that they owe the government 30 grand. That's the problem, is I'm getting secondhand information. I'm then passing it back, and it's like that game of telephone where you go all the way around the circle, and it's a whole different thing by the time it gets to it. That person, in my opinion, needs to join CFT, be a part of what we're doing, get this kind of one-on-one proximity, get a realtor like Drew. It's a very personal experience. So real estate in a box, very difficult to do. That's why a lot of education companies are closing up shop in Canada, because they realize that real estate in a box doesn't make sense. So I would reach out to the Cashflow Tribe team. I would reach out to Robert Goulet. He's actually in the comments here in Cashflow Tribe, and go, hey man, can I get some one-on-one help? And that would be the case. So Lisa, back to you. Close us out here. Any last piece of advice?
Good thing you said that, because that's exactly what I told them is join Cashflow Tribe. And I said, it's like paying for education. You wouldn't go to university and expect it to be free, and you won't value it the same way, and you won't put the same amount of work into it. So
yeah, I'll give you one caveat to that. I'll give you one quick caveat. Yeah. For me, every kind of education isn't paying for education. It's avoiding mistakes. It's not paying money. It's investing and you mitigating, reducing time. Whatever your time is worth to you, something's got to be worth. And whatever that really ridiculous and expensive mistake that you're about to walk into and make, that's really what you're mitigating against. So investing in yourself is really about risk mitigation. It's not about what do I have to cost to learn something. All the learning is free. YouTube is totally free. Every strategy is free. Like there's no reason to actually pay for information. What you should do is gain proximity and gain experience, like mentorship, so you can cut time and avoid, you're going to drop 10 grand because you overpaid. That's a costly mistake. You're going to lose $30,000 because you paid for 2 sides of a realtor deal. Well, you didn't have to. That's a costly mistake. You're going to go ahead and you're going to miss out on 10, 15, 20 opportunities because you don't know how to structure offers in the right way. That's a mistake. So I just want people to understand that remove the mistakes. And the way you do that is to get proximity to people who have either made the mistakes and learned the lessons and have the experience and the insight to build something with more speed. All right. So guys, that is the show. Thank you for being here. Tomorrow we will be back at our scheduled time. Drew, thank you for stepping up and being an awesome part of this community. Cashflow Tribe is about community. That is our core value. So thank you, bro, for stepping up here and helping Lisa. You've been a tremendous, tremendous asset in this conversation and helping us do what we've done. Until tomorrow.
Amazing.
Drew, give us a goodbye. Lisa, a goodbye.
I would have made a much higher offer.
We'll make sure we get you one. I'm with you. Okay, we'll talk tomorrow.
I would have made a much higher offer.
See you guys. See us tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern Time, Cashflow Tribe. See you guys there at cashflowtribe.com. Share the show out. Be great. Be blessed. And take care.